Hi dears, welcome to English classes at Radhika. In the IGNOU syllabus for English language, BA English language and literature students, there is a course to study that European classic in translation. And the first chapter of this book is Approaching the Iliad, the Epic and the Homeric Tradition. It is based on Homer's classic or epic, that is Iliad. In the coming slides, let's see what is happening in Iliad and what's the story of Iliad. Introduction of the Iliad. The Iliad is an ancient Greek epic poem attributed to Homer. We don't know who is the actual author of Iliad because it is a very ancient poem. It's an epic which is written in the poetic structure or the verses instead of dialogues. Anyway, Homer is considered as the writer of this Iliad. It narrates events during the Trojan War, focusing on Achilles. Achilles is the hero of Iliad. Then it is describing the Trojan War, the war which lasts for 10 years in Greece. A central theme is the conflict between personal honor and duty. Here in Iliad, Achilles is the hero. Anyway, he is very much conscious on his personal honor or the life after his death. By participating, according to him, by participating in the Trojan War, he can attain fame and eternity. The poem has shaped Western literature and storytelling. That is, Iliad is a very famous uh, poem throughout Europe. It tells about the life of Achilles. Let's go through the story of the Iliad. And before starting the story, I have to recommend you the film, The Troy. I think which is a 2014 film, and if you watch this film, you will understand the story very thoroughly. Okay, anyway, let's go through the story. The Iliad recounts the final weeks of the Trojan War. So here, the final weeks of the Trojan War is projected in the Iliad. It centers on Achilles' anger after a dispute with Agamemnon. We know that Achilles is a Greek hero, and he is a person who is there in the Greek army who has come to Troy. Troy is another country, and in order to fight with this Troy, the Greeks have come to the sands or the beach of Troy. And we know that Troy is a very powerful country, and they are there on fortress, and the enemies cannot penetrate the fortress. Anyway, this is happening in Iliad. So the Greek leader or the Greek king is Agamemnon. Agamemnon is very shrewd and cunning, and he wanted to extend his uh, territory. But his brother Melanus has lost his wife. There is Melanus has lost, that is, his wife Helen has been eloped with the Trojan prince Paris. For that purpose, they have come to uh, fight with the Trojans. Anyway, Achilles is the hero of Iliad. He is a very great warrior, but he does not like his king Agamemnon. And Agamemnon also does not like Achilles because he is a very great warrior. But in order to win the war, Achilles is needed. That is why Agamemnon is tolerating Achilles anyhow. But this dispute is for that is a lady who has been captured from the temple of the sun god Apollo of Troy. Uh, Her name is Briseis. Actually, she is the cousin of Paris. Achilles has fallen in love with this lady, but Agamemnon wanted to wanted to make her as his slave. Then there is Achilles does not like this. That is why he is quarreling with the Agamemnon. That is the beginning of this Iliad. Then it ends with Hector's funeral. Okay. Then key events include, that is after that a lot of events are there in this Iliad, including the death of Hector. There is a war. Actually, it is a duel between Achilles and Hector. Hector is the uh, eldest son of the king of Troy, that is Priam. Priam is the king of Troy. He has two sons. The eldest one is Hector and the youngest one is Paris. Anyway, there is a Hector is also a very good warrior, a very not interesting, a very frightful fight is happening between Achilles and Hector, in which Achilles has been killed by, sorry, Hector has been killed by Achilles. So it ends with Hector's funeral. Okay, Hector's funeral, but not the fall of Troy. The fall of Troy is happening in Odyssey, the next epic of Homer. Approaching the Iliad, originally passed down to oral tradition, we know that that is, it's a very ancient work. At first, it has been passed through oral tradition as a oral song from one person to other. It has been passed. It is not written at first. Uses dactylic hexameter and epithets for poetic effect. It's a kind of meter in which hexameter means 6 feet is there in that part, in each line. And themes include fate, wrath, honor, and morality. All these things or these elements are very crucial in this Iliad. Gods play an active role in human affairs. It is happening in each and every epic. Even in Indian epic, this is happening. Gods are playing active roles because fate is also very important. Achilles is dying because of his fate. Okay, so fate plays very important role in this. Uh, a short introduction to epics in Western literature. Epics are long narrative poem about heroic deeds. Okay, then epic should be long and it should be about the heroic action. So the hero should be a noble person, mainly a king or a warrior. The Iliad influenced later works like the Aeneid. Then Iliad, Aeneid is a later work that happened in Rome, and it was influenced by or inspired by Iliad. Medieval and Renaissance literature adapted epic themes. We know that during the Renaissance period or medieval period, a lot of epics were there in Europe, including this Iliad, Odyssey, Iliad and Odyssey. This has happened in BC, that is before Christ period. And we know that during the Renaissance and Reformation period, Renaissance means a revival of the classic literature. So during that period, people began to read these epics a lot and they began to write works like this. So it's a very good period, that is medieval or Renaissance period is a very good period for epics. Epics often explore human nature, war, and morality. So all these things are there in epics. Let us see the definition of an epic. Epic is a lengthy narrative poem focused on heroic exploits. So it is heroic. It is based on historical or mythological events. Historical elements will be there and mythological elements will also be there. Maybe it is based on the story of a god or goddess, or maybe historic things will be there in an epic. Includes divine intervention and supernatural elements. Supernatural elements will be there, as well as divine intervention means gods are playing crucial roles. Fate is also playing a crucial role in the epic. Features a vast dramatic setting across nations or world. So the setting of epic is very vast. It is not at all bound to a particular country or a particular region, but the setting across nations or worlds. Because there is in Iliad, we know that the Greeks, there is Greek, Greece is a group of islands, and from one island to the other, or some islands are gathered to travel to Troy, another island, to wage war against Troy. Okay, so anyway, it is not at all limited to a particular country, but the setting is very vast. Maybe a lot of countries are including, or it is worldwide. Let us analyze what are the characteristics of an epic. It begins with an invocation to the muse. As all epics, we have studied Shakuntalam and Mahabharata. Like that, it also begins with an invocation to the muse, in which the author is asking the blessings of the muse. Muse means the god who blesses the writer so creative, to be so creative. That is why at first the author or the writer is invoking or worshipping this muse. It starts in medias res, that is middle of events. It is not at all starting from the birth of the hero, but from the in the middle of things. The past of the hero will be narrated as a flashback. It includes grand battles and heroic speeches. As the hero is a noble person, a lot of battles will be there, and he should be a warrior, and heroic speeches are also there, because all of them prove his chivalry or his courage or his nobleness. Then uses extended similes and epithets in order to make his speech or the language of the epic so beautiful. A lot of figures of speech are also used, like similes and transferred epithets. What are the Homeric tradition, or what are the characteristics of Homeric classical epics? Homer's style influenced later epic poets. He is a great influencer because he has written two major epics in the history of Western literature, that is Iliad and Odyssey. Later poets were very much inspired by the Homeric styles. The Aeneid, that is, we have already said about Aeneid by Virgil, draws from Homer's work. That is, Aeneid was very much influenced by, it is very evident that it is purely influenced by Homeric works. Oral storytelling preserved these traditions. That is, they didn't write down the verses at first, because through oral traditions, this song has become very popular among people. Epics reflect cultural values and historical events. A lot of cultural elements will be there, because a lot of as it is very close to people or the tradition, a lot of cultural and religious elements also will be there in epic. Some historical elements are also there. We know that no poet is freed from history. A very good poet should have to write about his age. So history will also be there in their poems. The second unit is the Homeric hero. Here we can see which are the characteristics of a Homeric hero, a hero in Homeric works. Introduction. A Homeric hero is defined by strength, honor, and glory. He should be a very noble person, and he should be strong, and he should be glorious. They seek personal fame through heroic deeds. How do they become very famous? Because of their deeds. They have become very famous. Maybe they are very good warriors and they are fighting in many battles and they have defeated many people. That is why they are very famous. Honor in battle is more important than the life itself. In Iliad, it is also evident that Achilles has participated in this war in order to preserve his name, or he wanted to preserve his name even after his death. That is why he has participated in the war. That is, he is not at all any relative of Menelaus or something, or he is not at all interested in Menelaus and his wife, but he has participated only because he wanted to get fame. Okay, so anyway, that is, they are not at all fearing death. Achilles is the epitome of Homeric hero. That is, all the characteristics of a Homeric hero is evident in Achilles. So he is a very good example for Homeric hero. So what are the characteristics of Achilles, the warrior hero? He is a very good warrior. He is a soldier, not a king. Greatest Greek warrior, son of Peleus and Thetis. Peleus and Thetis were the parents of Achilles. His rage drives much of the Iliad's plot. So he is a very good warrior and he is outrageous. That is, he is angry in most of the time. Chooses glory over a long life. At the time of this war, Achilles was not at all, that is when Agamemnon has invited him for the war, Achilles was not at all ready to participate in the war only because of Agamemnon. Okay, then at this time, Thetis, his mother, is telling about the glory of war to Achilles, and she is telling that if you go to the war, you won't return, but your name will be there forever. Then if you are not going to the war, you can marry a beautiful lady and have children, and they will remember you after the death, but after their death your name will be vanished. But if you are going to the war, you won't have any family at all, a long life at all, but your name will be there forever. So she asked him to choose the option, and Achilles has chosen the second one. Then he has decided to go to the war. Anyway, that is, they are preferring, or he is actually preferring glory instead of a long life. His humanity is revealed through grief for Patroclus. Patroclus is his cousin. At the death of Patroclus, a lot of grief is happening in the mind of our Achilles. So, even though he is always outrageous or he is always angry, but he is very kind towards this Patroclus. Hector and Achilles. We have already said about the two Greek heroes, Hector and Achilles, and they are fighting with each other. Hector is the prince of Troy. Achilles is a warrior of the Greek army. They are fighting with each other in the Trojan War. Here Hector is Troy's noble warrior, fights for family and city. We know that he wanted to protect his family as well as his country. That is why he is fighting. Achilles seeks personal revenge and honor. Achilles himself does not know why he is participating in this war, but he wanted name, or he wanted his name to be preserved. Their duel represents two views of heroism. Okay, both of them are very heroic, and one is a family man and the other one is a person, a very good warrior without any aim at all, and he wanted to preserve his name. That is the main aim of his life. Achilles slays Hector but later shows mercy to Priam. We know that after killing Hector, Achilles dragged his body, Hector's dead body, to the Greek pavilion, and he is not at all showing any honor to the dead body, which is a breach to the war ethics. Then Priam, the king enters to Achilles' place and asks for his son's dead body. Achilles shows mercy to Priam and he gives the dead body of Hector to his father. So it's a question, who is the real hero of Iliad, whether it is Achilles or Hector? Colby Lemme argues Achilles is the true hero, and some other persons are arguing that it is not Achilles but Hector is the hero because he is more humane in nature. Humane means that is humanly characters are there in Hector. Heroism is shown through bravery in battle. Hector and Achilles contrast in values and fate. Both of them have different backgrounds or history, and those shaped their life also. Achilles was born as wild, and his character is also so wild, and he is very powerful. But Hector has born into a kingdom, or as the son of King Priam, and he loves his son Hector very much, and he is cared for very much, so his character is accordingly. Unit 3, War in the Homeric Age. War is very important in Iliad. So let's see which are the characteristics of war in the age of Homer. We know that war is central to Iliad. It is portrayed as both glorious and tragic. Glorious, that is why Iliad, that is Achilles, has participated in this war. He wanted to be glorious. The war is tragic also because a lot of deaths are happening in war. The gods influence the course of battles. Okay, gods are diverting the battles according to their wishes. Death and fate are inevitable themes. Different facets of war, different stages of war can be seen in Iliad. War brings fame and heroism. It also causes immense suffering. A lot of people will be killed in war, especially common people will be killed, common soldiers will be killed. And what about the life of their family? It is also very tragic. So war causes suffering. The Iliad shows the personal cause of battle. So personal cost of battle, that we know that it is fought for a lady by name Helen. Fate and divine will shape the war's outcome. So gods are deciding, okay, how should this war end, or what would be the outcome of this war. Everything is predetermined by the gods. William Hazlitt, the glory of war. William Hazlitt is a critic, is telling about the glory of the war. War is often glorified in literature. We know that it is not at all so glorified in our real life. We know that a lot of things are happening, a lot of tragic events are happening after the war, and now it is evident that in Gaza as well as in Ukraine, war is going on. A lot of suffering is there for the common people. So, but in literature, especially in epics, we know that in Mahabharata and Ramayana, war is very much glorified. That is, in order to glorify the hero, war should be there. Okay. So, Hazlitt highlights its appeal to human nature. The Iliad balances heroism with a tragedy. So heroism is there in Iliad, and tragedy is also there. At the end of Iliad, the death of Achilles is happening. True glory comes with a sacrifice and loss. So true glory is uh, glory comes with sacrifice. That is, persons who are sacrificing will attain glory. That is, it reminds us of Karna. Okay, he has sacrificed his Kavaja Kundala or his protection to Indra, and it marks, or it attained glory for him. Honor versus horror, the Iliad and its sequels. The Iliad glorifies various but shows war's brutality. War is very brutally described by Homer, and in that film also a lot of terrific scenes are there regarding the war. There is a honor versus horror. Honor will be there in war. Persons who are participating in the war will get some kinds of honor, but horror is also there. At each and every time, they are always reminded of their death. They are very much, they are suffering that horror. Honor is gained through battle, but a great cost. The cost may be their life itself. Later works like the Aeneid explore war's consequences. Okay, that is, the Aeneid is very much caring about or describing the consequences of war or the loss of war. Then reconciliation and peace are rare but vital themes. So reconciliation, that is, the persons who won't understand anything, and peace is not at all a very vital or a very important theme in Homeric period. They are very much caring about war, battles, glory, etc. Reconciliation, that means the recognition or realization. Achilles' rage softens after Hector's death. We have already said about the death of Hector, as well as the things that had happened to the dead body of Hector. Anyway, after the death of Hector, Achilles has been softened. Then Priam appeals to Achilles' humanity. Hector's funeral symbolizes closure, and it ends by the funeral of Hector. War is tragic. We know there is tragedy is happening in war, but respect among enemies exists. That is happening. That is, it's evident that in the conversation between Achilles and Priam, there is even between enemies, they should have to follow some ethics, some rules and regulations. You need to fall towards a political ethics. Ethics in the Iliad reflect Greek cultural norms. We know that Homer was representing his culture as well as his age. So he is describing the things those have happened in his age. What tests morality and personal values? We know that a lot of personal values will be there for each and every person, especially for kings or noble people. So everything is being tested during the time of war. The poem questions fate and free will. Okay, fate also plays very important role here. Free will, or one's free will, or freedom to select things is also very vital or important thing in this Iliad. Leadership and justice play key roles. Okay, Agamemnon is a hero, and we know that Achilles is also the hero of Myrmidons. Anyway, leadership is very important, especially in war, we know. Then excerpts from Book 24, in which Priam begs Achilles for Hector's body. Achilles is moved by Priam's sorrow. He agrees to return the body of Hector, which has been dragged to the Greek uh, pavilion by Achilles after killing Hector. The scene reflects themes of empathy and respect. Even though he is a very outrageous person and he is very furious with the death of his cousin Patroclus, he shows some mercy towards Priam. He gives back the dead body of Hector to Priam. Achilles agrees to a truce. Hector's funeral is essential for honor. We know that at the beginning of the war, a treaty will be there, and the most important thing is that giving justice towards dead body. Proper cremation should be there for the dead body. According to Greek belief, the dead body should be cremated properly. Otherwise, the soul won't get peace in its life after death. So Achilles grants a truce to respect the dead. So he is giving the dead body to Priam. This act marks Achilles' emotional growth. Even though he is shown as a very outrageous person or very angry person at first, at the beginning of the story, he is matured as the story develops. It emphasizes humanity amidst war. Lessons from the war. Some lessons are there taught by the war. Plato sees war as a test of virtue. So, according to Plato, the Greek philosopher, what tests virtue of a person? James Redfield explores the hero's moral dilemmas. Hero must have a kind of moral dilemma because he wanted to know which is true and which is false. That is whether war is right or it is not at all the right thing. But a hero or especially a king should have to participate in the war because he is a king. So a lot of dilemmas are there in the mind of heroes. Dean Hammer views war as a clash of cultures. So that is when the war is between two cultures, what will happen? That is, it's a clash of cultures. That is, the two cultures are clashing together or fighting together. Kelvin Crott tells that the Iliad's ethical lessons, a lot of ethical lessons are there, like war ethics or ethics towards ladies or ethics towards gods. Everything is questioned in Iliad. So all these things are described or pointed out by Kevin Crott, the critic. Hope you have understood this video. Thank you, dears. And before closing, I have to tell you something. While watching the video, you have to write down notes. If you are not able to follow my language or is there any difficulty, you can click the CC button. Then you can watch the subtitles. Okay. So please prepare your notes while watching the video. Okay, thank you once again. Bye bye.